Before I tell you the story, I need you to understand something about names. In Khasi tradition, a name is not just a person, a name is a responsibility. It is passed down through generation like a flame. The same name, different hands, different eras, different wounds. You may have heard of Ka Khmah Nongsai before, perhaps in a story about a king who was rejected, perhaps in a whisper about the first chief of Mawphlang. But this is the story of the first Ka Khmah Nongsai, not the king, not the chief, the woman who made all of them possible. And history, as it always does with women who carries everything, forgot to record what happened to her after. But the forest remembers, the forest always remembers.
24 kilometers southwest of Shillong, there is a forest that does not behave like other forests. It is a temperate rainforest, evergreen, ancient. The trees here are so old that moss and lichen have built their own civilizations on the bark. Orchids hang from branches like offerings. The canopy is so dense that sunlight barely reaches the floor, and when it does, it falls in thin silver columns like light through the windows of a cathedral. The ground is covered in rotting leaves, rufescent and deep, several inches thick. When you walk here, your feet sink into the earth with every step, as if the ground is pulling you gently downward, as if it wants to keep you. The water from its springs is cold and clear, and people say it tastes like nothing you have ever drunk before, like the earth filtered it through 1,000 years of patience. This is the Lawling Dome, the sacred grove of Mawphlang, and here is what you must understand about this place before we go any further. Nothing that enters this forest leaves it, not a fruit, not a flower, not a single leaf from the floor, not even the grass. This is not superstition. This is not a rule invented by men who wanted control. This is a covenant, a contract signed not in ink, but in intention, in sacrifice, in a woman's willingness to give everything she had built to something she could not see, could not touch, could only trust. This is the story of how that contract was made, and what it cost her. Before we meet her, you must first meet the one who was already there. The Khasi people speak of a guardian spirit called Urinke Ubasa. It is the protector of villages and of the wilderness, the keeper of sacred places. And it does not come in one form. It comes as a snake, and it comes as a tiger. Here is what that means, and listen carefully, because this changes everything about how you understand what happens next. If a man enters the sacred grove and takes something, even grass, even something small, something he thinks no one will notice, the Basa will appear as a snake, not to hurt him, not to kill him, but to appear in his home, in his pigsty, coiled and still and waiting. And the pig will not enter, and the man will not sleep, and his family will ask, where did this grass come from? And when they find out, they say to the snake, go, please. They have done wrong, they will return it. And the man takes the grass back to the grove, puts it exactly where it was, and the snake disappears. No punishment, no death, just a mirror held up to the wrong thing done until the wrong thing is undone. But when people near the grove are overcome with fear, when danger comes from outside, they call out to the spirit, O calm, O Rinkyu, O Basa, please protect us from danger. And from somewhere behind them, deep, guttural, unmistakable, Kor, 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 the tiger, felt on all sides, and danger retreats. When they feel safe again, they send the Basa away, and it goes. This is not a monster, this is not a demon, this is a guardian in a relationship with its people. You can speak to it, apologize to it, call it, and release it when you no longer need it. This spirit was already in the hills of Mawphlang before anyone built anything here, before any clan came, before any rule was made. It was waiting. It is always waiting. She was not born to be chosen. She was born to survive. Her name was Ka Khmah Nongsai, and by the time the elders came to find her, she had already lived more lives than most people are given. Some say she was orphaned. Young cholera took her family, and she left with her two uncles, searching for new land to farm, carrying nothing but whatever she could hold in her hands. Others say she had to run, that a powerful clan saw her bloodline as a threat and wanted it erased, that she and her uncles fled not from grief but from men who wanted them dead. Perhaps both things were true. Perhaps survival rarely comes from just one wound. She wandered first to a boy in the north of Khasi and settled in a place called Khmah. Then she moved to a village called Nongsai, and this is where her name comes from. Khmah, from Khmah. Nongsai, from the village. She carried her journey in her name. Every place she had survived she wore on her tongue when she introduced herself. From Nongsai she moved to Molier in what is now East Khasi Hills, and here she met him, her husband, Lihir Sohtun. He took her to Milium, and then, because of differences with a powerful clan there too, they moved again, settled in a quiet place called Lightsoma. Finally, still, home. She had stopped running, and then the elders came. The Youngblood clan had held Mawphlang for generations. They had migrated from Reepnar in the Jaintia Hills, but something had gone wrong. A discontent had settled over the state like fog. The people were restless. The elders could feel it but could not name it. And so they did what the Khasi people have always done when the answer is beyond human knowing. They asked God. They performed the obsecration ceremonies, the egg-breaking rituals, ecstasy reading the entrails of animals for divine signs, and the answer came through the augurs and the diviners, unmistakable and strange. A woman named Khmah Nongsai, in a place called Lightsoma, in the state of Sohra, with her husband Lihir Sohtun. Nobody knew her, nobody had heard of her, the name was not famous. The village was not powerful, but God does not consult our expectations. The elders made the journey to Lightsoma. They found her. They offered her the state of Mawphlang, the land, the authority, the title, everything. And she said, I am not interested. Not from weakness, not from fear, from the wisdom of a woman who had watched power destroy everything she had ever called home. She had run from powerful clans. She had lost everything to people who wanted too much. She did not want a throne. She wanted her husband, her home, her stillness. Her life in Lightsoma, finally quiet, finally hers. But she did not close the door completely. She said, let God decide, not me. She planted two kinds of saplings, the Angsoma arus tree, the Angsning a species of oak, one of each. She planted a set in Lightsoma, where she lived, where her husband was, where her life was, and she planted a set in Fipandi in Mawphlang, the place the elders were asking her to go to. She told the Yangbla elders, come back in a year. Wherever both saplings grow well, that is where I will go. Then she went home to her husband, and she waited. A year is a long time when you already know, somewhere deep inside yourself, what the answer is going to be. Did she tend the late summer saplings more carefully? Did she water them with her own hands, hoping? Did she pray for the Mawphlang ones to fail? The legend does not say. The legend only says what happened when the elders came back. In light summer, one sapling survived. Only one. In Fipandi, Mawphlang, both saplings were alive. Both of them. Not just surviving, thriving, growing beyond what a single year should allow. The forest had been feeding them. The earth of Mawphlang had pulled those roots in and held them and said, yes, this is where she belongs. This is where this begins. The forest had chosen her before she chose it, and Ka Khmah Nongsai looked at the results, and she kept her word. She came to Fifandi. It was not yet what it would become. It was a clearing. The two saplings at its center, already taller than they should have been. The air around them different, cooler, heavier, like the atmosphere itself was paying attention. She had consecrated this place as a site of worship for her clan. And now she performed the first ceremony here, alone. Before she could touch anything, she spoke. Because in Khasi tradition, you do not take from the earth without first speaking to it. You do not enter a sacred space without asking permission. You bow, you offer homage. Kanub Kadem, the ceremony of acknowledgement, the ritual that says, I know this is not mine. I know I am a guest here. I know that God exists in every root and branch and leaf around me, and I am asking, not demanding, to be allowed to give. She added more trees to the clearing, not to mark territory, as offerings. Each tree planted was a prayer made physical. Each root pressed into the Mawphlang earth was an act of devotion, and this is the origin of the sacred covenant. This is why nothing can be taken from the grove, because everything in it was given. Every branch, every orchid, every moss-covered bark, every leaf on the forest floor, someone gave it. Freely, intentionally, to God, to the guardian spirit, to the land itself. To take something from this grove is not to break a rule. It is to reach into someone's prayer and pull it apart. She stood in the clearing when the ceremony was done. The air was very still. The two saplings that had started all of this swayed slightly in a wind she could not feel on her skin. And then, kur, kur, kur. She had not called it. She had not asked for protection. She was performing a ritual of giving, not asking for anything in return. And Urinke Ubasa came anyway, because it recognized her, because this place had always been hers, and the guardian of this place had always known that. Ka Khmah Nongsai stood very still. She did not run, she did not call out. She just stood and listened to the tiger breathing somewhere in the tree she had just consecrated, and understood completely that she was home, even if home had cost her everything she had built before this. She became the first ancestress of Lingdo Mawphlang, the priestly ruling clan, the keepers of the grove. She did not rule as a chief. She founded the line. She built the worship site. She performed the ceremonies. She grew the grove tree by tree, prayer by prayer, until it became what it is today, a vast, breathing, living, sacred forest that has survived 500 years of human history around it, untouched, undiminished, still answering when called. History remembers all of this. What history does not remember is Lihir Sortun, her husband, the man she had settled with in Late Soma, the man who had taken her from Molia to Milium, the man she had built a quiet life with when all the running was finally done. Did he follow her to Mawphlang? Did she ask him to? Did she stand at the threshold of Light Soma the night before she left, looking at the life she had built, knowing she was choosing something larger than herself and smaller than what she wanted? The legend does not say. No Khasi text records what happened between Ka Khmah Nongsai and Lihir Sortun on the night before she went to Mawphlang. No story tells us whether she cried, whether she was certain, whether the quiet of Light Soma felt like peace or like a wound. History is very good at recording what women built. It is very bad at recording what they had to let go of to build it. The grove grew, year after year. ceremony after ceremony, tree after tree. It grew into what you see today if you visit 25 kilometers southwest of Shillong, a temperate rainforest so dense the sunlight cannot reach the floor, springs that taste like the earth has been filtering them since before memory. Moss so thick on the bark it looks like the trees have grown their own skin twice over, and somewhere in it the guardian, still there, still watching, coming as a snake when something is taken, coming as a tiger when someone needs protecting. The forest is 500 years old, maybe older. Ka Khmah Nongsai has been gone for just as long, and before all of this began, she sent something else ahead of her to Mawphlang. Not her presence, not her prayers, her son. His name was also Khmah Nongsai. He became the first chief, and that is a story for another time. What Khmah Nongsai built is still standing, still breathing, still sacred. And the rules of the grove, nothing taken, nothing removed, not a leaf, not a stone, those rules are not enforced by guards or governments. They are enforced by 500 years of understanding what happens when you take from something that was built on giving. If you ever go to Mawphlang, and I hope you do, walk slowly, let your feet sink into the leaves, listen for the water, and if, from somewhere deep inside the trees, you hear something low and guttural that you cannot explain, don't run. You're not in danger. You've just been noticed. I'm your lawkeeper. We keep what was meant to stay buried. See you next Friday.